Who are going to be the biggest winners and the biggest losers in Charleston's 2023 housing market? Stay tuned to find out. Welcome back, everybody. As always, I'm Bill Olson, your favorite YouTubing Charleston realtor. And that's right, today we're talking about the biggest winners and the biggest losers going into the 2023 housing market. Now, make sure you stick around until the end because you're not going to want to miss the biggest loser. And I've also got a bonus winner for you. Starting off with the winners, I feel that first-time homebuyers are actually going to be the biggest winners in the 2023 housing market. Now, I know you've probably already started that comment below as to why I'm dead wrong, so I'm just going to give you a quick second to finish that before I move on. Is that enough time? Okay, good. Now hear me out. Yes, I know what you're saying and what you're thinking is, but rates are extremely high and prices are inflated. And yes, that is correct. Not just first-time homebuyers, but all homebuyers right now need a higher income than they did the past few years in order to purchase a home. However, there is a lot more room for negotiations now. Now, I'm not just talking about price. Negotiating things other than price will actually benefit you a lot more than negotiating that price down. These seller concessions can be used to either save you money in your closing costs, or they can be used to buy down your rate. What's super popular right now are 2-1 buy downs or even 3-2-1 buy downs. Now, how these work are in a 2-1 buy down, if you qualify for a 6.5% rate, you can negotiate for the seller to pay for your 2-1 buy down. So the first year of your mortgage will actually be at a 4.5% rate. The second year will be a 5.5% rate, and then 3 through 20 will be that 6.5. Now, if you can get them to pay a 3-2-1 buy down, means your first year is a 3.5, then it moves to 4.5, 5.5, and then years 4 through 30 are that 6.5. And at any time in there, you can refinance. This is actually going to save you thousands of dollars over the course of those first few years. Now, if you're curious how many sellers are offering seller concessions, now in the middle of the frenzy from March to May, only 18% of home sellers were paying seller concessions for buyers. In November and December, that number jumped to 47%. Now, I think that number is just going to get higher because back in 2019, pre-pandemic, we were at a 58% of sellers paid seller concessions to buyers. Next on our list of big winners are going to be cash buyers and cash investors. Now, yes, cash is king. Cash is always king in any market, but I think it's going to play even more so into this year, especially in the first half of the year. Reason being, right now, we're in the winter months. It's a little slower, so demand is always a lot lower now. So I feel if you are a cash buyer or a cash investor and you're looking to scoop up a deal, I think now is the prime time. We've got a lot of these homes that have been sitting on the market for longer than normal, or they're getting frustrated because their home isn't selling. Now, days on market, in the middle of the frenzy, we averaged 11 days on market. That has since tripled in the past 6 months to 33 days on market. So if you're paying cash, even if you're not paying cash, but for the cash buyers, this is especially true, that you can come in with a stronger offer on these homes that have been sitting on the market for 1, 2, maybe 3 months, throw a cash offer at them, chances are they're going to jump on it. And if they don't, and they don't want to negotiate, well, stick around because we're going to get to those people on our loser list. Next on our list are FHA and VA buyers. Now, during the frenzy, these offers got pushed to the side before any of the others. Why is this? Well, there's a few reasons. A lot of sellers and even agents are very uneducated on FHA and VA loans, and they automatically discount them because they don't think they're a strong offer. Actually, most VA loans are probably stronger than conventional loans. If you're in the military, thank you for your service. You have earned the right to use your VA loan, and everyone deserves to be educated on these. Do not discount a VA loan, please. That was my soapbox. Moving on. The reason they were pushed aside most of the time during the frenzy is because we were seeing contingencies being dropped left and right. Most people were dropping the appraisal contingency, meaning that whatever that price was, they were going to pay. Even if it didn't appraise, they would bring the difference to the table at closing. Well, during an FHA and a VA loan, that has a built-in appraisal contingency that cannot be removed. So therefore, anyone that was using an FHA or a VA loan and they couldn't switch to conventional, they were unable to compete with people that were dropping that appraisal contingency. Now that these contingencies are back, that means that FHA and VA buyers have a chance. Right now is your time. If you're an FHA or VA buyer and you got locked out or priced out of the market, or you got buyer fatigue last year, now is the time to get back in the market and grab one of these homes with all of these contingencies. And like I said, you can get all of those negotiated terms in there as well. So those were the winners. Now it's time to get into the losers. And the first of the losers on our list, well, those are the home builders. Specifically, the big production builders, your D.R. Hortons, your Pulte's, your Lennars, your David Weekley's. Reason being is for 2 years, these home builders had the field of dreams mentality.
If you build it, he will come.
And this has left these home builders with an oversupply of inventory. So much so that I just read an article that Lennar is looking to sell upwards of 5,000 completed homes at a discount to a big investor to use as rentals. I couldn't even imagine if I bought a home, moved into a neighborhood, and the next thing I know is that 50 of my neighbors become rental homes. Like, has that happened to you? Have you seen this happening where you are? Let me know down in the comments if you've witnessed this. I haven't heard talks about it here yet in Charleston, but they did say a majority of these 5,000 homes were in the Southeast. So apart from selling to those big investors, now we've got these builders with an oversupply of inventory. As a matter of fact, they currently hold over a third of our total active listings here in Charleston. And that doesn't even account for the ones that are still under construction that they haven't put on the market yet. So what are they doing? Well, they are slashing prices left and right. And on top of that, they are stacking incentives for you. Now, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on this because I did another video about this recently. I will link to it at the end for you so that you can get into all those specifics if you're in the market for new construction and how you can get a better deal because the builders are going to be these big losers of 2023. Next on our loser list are the fix and flip investors, commonly referred to as flippers. This year could be very challenging for these flippers because the past 2 years almost created a perfect storm for seeing so many homes flipped on the market. We had high demand, we had low supply, and rapidly rising prices. Of those three, the only thing we really have right now is a lower than average supply. So while it is possible to flip a home and still make a profit, that profit margin is going to be significantly less than it has been the past few years because you're not going to get that built-in rise of prices in the 4, 5, 6 months it takes you to flip that home. And there's just not as much demand. So you're not going to have all of those multiple offers of people fighting over this home when you get it back on the market. If you are looking to flip a home and you want a current list of handyman specials, shoot me an email at info@livinginchs.com and put handyman special as the subject line, and I will get an up-to-date list of all of those homes over to you as soon as possible. All right, remember earlier when I mentioned the sellers that were unwilling to negotiate? Yeah, let's go back to them because in reality, or realty, I think they are the biggest losers of 2023. These are the sellers that are stuck in the past. Not like that crazy aunt who's stuck in the 80s with the big perm, but sellers that are stuck just in the past 2 years of the housing market. These are the sellers that saw their friends and family put a sign in their yard, have a line out their front door, and sell with multiple offers over asking in the first 12 hours. And the reality is, we're not in that market anymore. Back in May, the average home was getting 101.1% above their original asking price. In December, it was 94.6. That's actually the lowest we've seen since February of 2017. And this is because these sellers that are stuck in the past, they are pricing their homes above market value. They're doing nothing to get their homes on the market. And therefore, buyers are passing them up to where when they do finally come down to market value, now we've got those winners, those cash investors, or those first-time home buyers that are coming in, and they're going to request so many concessions from the seller and probably a price reduction because that home is going to be on the market for so long that that seller could just be frustrated by this point, and it's their first offer that they've gotten, and now they feel like they have to take it because it's just going to get lower. Remember, the longer your home is on the market, the more aggressive buyers are going to be with their offers. And that brings us to our bonus winner of 2023. And that bonus winner are going to be the sellers that price with the market, that get their home ready for the market, that have the marketing for it, that aren't living in the past. That these sellers are the ones that are still going to most likely be getting multiple offers to where they get to negotiate with the buyers and not have the buyers be in control. Looking back at this list, you've probably noticed a little trend that the win column was very buyer heavy and the loser column was very seller heavy. But that doesn't necessarily translate into 2023 being a buyer's market. Statistically, we are still in a seller's market, and inventory is still well below our baseline, even though demand has dropped as well. So it's going to take a lot to get us back to that balanced market or even a buyer's market. But what I do know is that buyers have a lot more leverage going into 2023, which I think they are the actual biggest winners of the year. So if you are in the market to buy or sell anywhere in the greater Charleston area, I'd love to be your real estate resource of choice. Or if you just have any questions about the market, hit me up. I've got all of my contact information below. And as I said about that builder incentive video, I've got it right here. So go ahead and check out this one because I really think you're going to enjoy that, especially if you're in the market for new construction. I really appreciate you watching this and supporting my channel. Go ahead and subscribe, like, leave me a comment down below, and I'll see you on the next video.